Hi, my name is Rachel Blackwell, and I am the lighting designer and curator for Four Women and an Artist. Today, we're going to answer a few questions that you guys gave us. We were only able to choose about 10, but thank you for all the questions that you guys sent in. So, we're going to jump right in. I'll let everybody kind of introduce themselves just really quickly, but it may come up in one of the questions. Thank you guys. And yeah, let's get started. So the first question is, what were the thoughts of the four women when Rachel first introduced the project to them?
Thought it was a wonderful and exciting idea. And then she told me I was going to sing. But yeah, I thought it was very exciting and it was a project whose time has come.
Was super excited because what we've been going through right now is it's just been bringing me down. And I just was happy to be a part of something that could lift us and empower us and let our voices be heard and through music and art and spoken word. And I haven't been able to be on the stage in a while because I sing in a band and I'm really, really missing that. So it just gives me the opportunity to share my art, my gift, and in a positive way, and hopefully in a way that will open some eyes and ears and minds. So I was excited to be a part of it.
I was very excited, surprised, and when I learned more about the production, I got goosebumps because it's so needed. It is the perfect timing for it, and to be a part of it is just so humbling to me, and with a group of amazing people. And I think it's going to be very well received. And I am, again, so excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. So when I got your call, this is probably going to be slightly embarrassing for you, but I thought about my family room and these four little kids always singing and performing and making their parents sit in front of them when they perform something. And I said, oh, she's all grown up now. And so I was like, let me just jump in and do whatever she's asking me to do. And then I thought about it afterwards. I was kind of like your mom. I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be on the stage. And that's not my normal comfort zone. But I am so pleased to watch as you and your generation steps up to the plate. And that's what younger people do. They like lead, especially in moments when it's a call for change. And art always leads. Um, so I am happy to be a part of it. And I thought about Nina Simone and the way that she put her political and social desires, and she placed importance on that, and it undercut her ability to make money to stay employed, but she was determined to use what she had toward the ends of changing and impacting the policies and politics of our government. So I'm really pleased to be a part of your project and what you're doing to add voices to the world.
The next question, and I think I'll give the ancestry of this, but do the artists know each other? So, Jay Regina is actually my mother. So that's that one. Henri is my cousin's fiance. And I met her, how long ago was it now?
It was a little over a year.
Oh man, it feels
Yeah.
like so much longer. She is just a wonderful person, a wonderful soul. And as soon as I met her, yeah, I knew that we were gonna work together at some point. Um, and Miss Prince, I've known her, or she's known me rather. Uh, how long? Since I've been alive, almost. Um, I grew up with her kids, and um, yeah, we used to do plays all the time in their house. Very loud, very violently ending plays. It would be a beautiful story, and then it just always took a turn at the end. But her kids are also, they're both artists. They're amazing artists, and she's an amazing artist. And so again, I knew I had to have her on this project. Um, Miss Wright is actually my partner's aunt, and I met her, what, 2 or 3 months ago? It was fairly recent, and she told me about her piece, and I was like, well, this needs to be a part of it. Like, no question, no doubt, and this needs to be a part. So I'm happy to have her here. Rain, I met through a mutual, also a lighting designer, Isfahan. Uh, and I'm excited about working with him because his work is something like I've never seen before. I really enjoy and am happy with what he's created for our project. Amazing artist. And last but certainly, certainly not least, my best friend, Donald Lee III. I met Donald freshman year of high school. We were both in the IB program together, the International Baccalaureate. And he never lets me forget how we met. I'm gonna let you tell the story, Donald. You can tell them how we first met.
So Rachel so graciously saw me chewing some gum. And the first words that she said to me were, "That's a lot of gum you're chewing there, sir." And somehow from that moment, it's just, it's morphed into this, I guess we're going on 8, 9 years now, long friendship. And it's just, it's kind of crazy how we're at this point, just from knowing each other in high school to I kind of knew what I wanted to do since I was really tiny, but from that to Rachel deciding that she's going to go into theater, to us ending up at the same conservatory, to doing our master's degrees, living right down the street from one another. I'm just excited to be a part of this and excited to help my best friend in any way possible.
Yes, I love you so much, Donald. Okay, how did you all choose your respective pieces to present for this?
I absolutely love Langston Hughes, and for my senior recital at ODU, I performed this piece, I Too Sing America, and I think that right now, America needs to be reminded of where we came from and who we are now, how beautiful we are, and that they underestimated us, thought that they could treat us any kind of way, but actually the power and the strength that we have. And I think that song really speaks to the spirit of the African American, and that we are able to persevere through anything. And even though people count us out, at the end of the day, they have to look at us and be like, whoa, was I very wrong about that? So even though they still want to look down on us and keep us down, we are amazing. We rise through it all. So that's why I chose that song.
Well, when you asked me about the project, I thought, well, what are the things that I have in my computer right now that I'm working on that might be relevant? And for me, I always go, I don't go to the top. I always go to the bottom, because I think that's the place where we've been given historically. And I think there's probably a whole lot of wealth that we haven't noticed or paid attention to. And I had gone to the National Archives and found letters written to President Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt from the late 1930s and 40s. And they were from these women who were working in situations that were not really, now they would be illegal. And at the time, they were just appealing for help. They wanted some support. They wanted some limits to the amount of hours and a minimum wage. And they were seeking that kind of support from the highest office in the land. And for me, that is really relevant to what's going on right now. And if you look at these women and the work that they did and the way that they struggled to just be heard and to be seen, I thought this is a time that we might look and see them, see what they were saying, see what they endured, and then see what we have learned or could have learned or have yet to learn from them.
Well, I had seen Harriet more than once, I don't know how many times. And every time I heard that song, Stand Up, during the credits, I would just begin to weep. And I put it on my iPod and I listened to it while I was walking around the neighborhood trying to get exercise, and was singing it in the street, to my neighbors' shock and awe. And I just was very moved by that piece of music, representing a woman who was fighting for freedom in the 19th century. And here we are in the 21st century doing the same thing, you know? And after that, I saw Beyonce's Black is King, and that choir song, Spirit, moved me in the same way. I did not want to put those two pieces together. That was my daughter's idea. But they are both saying the same things about us as a people, that it's important to stand up. It's important to hear what is going on inside yourself, listen to that voice, and stand up for that voice, stand up for that people, stand up for all of your people, for the sake of our survival and our freedom and wholeness. That's why.
So my piece, I don't think I chose it. I think it chose me. I write all the time, but it takes me a little while to write, because if you were to ask me to sit down and write something, it'll take me a year. But I allow the spirit to come to me, and that's how I write. And with everything going on in today's times, with the police brutality, with so many of our brothers and sisters being killed unnecessarily, the question came to me is, tell me why. And I actually had no intention on having a singing part to it. That was really by accident. And no, I take that back. It's not by accident. Everything happens for a reason. I actually allowed my niece to hear it. She fell in love with it and thought that I should perform it. And unbeknown to me, Rachel, that she shared it with you. And when I met you, I did it again here, and you loved it, and exactly what you stated, saying that it needed to be a part of your production. It is so many questions of people, our people have asked that question. Tell me why. Why is this happening? Why are you doing this? And it runs really, really deep. And I definitely think that it's so needed, and it comes from a deep spirited level from our people. That's why.
I really wanted to dive into the pieces. Well, not even necessarily diving into them, but actually look at them and understand like what they were being written for in the time periods they were written in, and also like what context they were written in, and not just create from like a sense of like trying to ask, or not just creating from a sense of trying to just depict what's already been depicted, which is Black trauma, but more so take everything that everybody's trying to communicate and show like, yeah, this is happening, but overall, we're still not going to fall down from this, and that we're still more united now than ever. So I was more so creating from a sense of unity than despair or sadness or anger, because I feel like unity is like that, like that's what's going to make all the other stuff dissipate. Like I feel like if the oppressor sees the oppressed united, that's what strikes fear in their heart, and that's what ultimately ends what they're trying to project onto us. So when I was creating, I really wanted to like put an emphasis on strength and on just Black unity and just the togetherness that we have in our community as a whole. And yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest. I just really wanted to create from that sense of unity, because I don't think it's depicted enough in mass media, So I just thought, I'm given an opportunity to do something like this and create something on a mass scale and I'm big size. So, why not use that to put something out there that not necessarily say it hasn't put out there, but it hasn't put out there enough, especially by Black artists, in my opinion.
So, the question reads, how did we choose things? And, this isn't necessarily something where I'm making too many choices, and I'm kind of really thankful for that. Well, first, again, I thanked you yesterday for asking me to do this in the first place, because, it's been a while since I've interacted with composition. I've been spending so much time, just playing works and all of that. But this process has really kind of revealed a lot of things about myself to myself. And then also it's revealing more about kind of what we're all going through and feeling right now. So as I'm approaching double bar lines in both this prelude and postlude, I'm really finding that my work is starting to really echo Rain's sentiments, and I really felt like it was going to. I'll just kind of give a little bit of a sneak peek. There's going to be some abrupt dissonances and some jarring sounds in the beginning of these pieces, but just kind of how everything is settling into beauty. So I guess if there's a choice that's being made, it's the choice to focus on the beauty of us coming together and not the horrors that we collectively face. But just by focusing on the beauty, I think that's the choice that I'm making, and the works are now revealing themselves quite smoothly. So
I love that.
Thank you.
And I think that means that we're headed in the right direction, because there hasn't been any major disruptions or anything to take away from the end goal, the message we're trying to get out there. So that's pretty cool. Our next question is, have any of you ever done something like this before? And Rachel, have you ever produced anything like this before? I'll start. I have never done anything like this before. I am a lighting designer. Well, I studied to be a lighting designer. I'm an artist first. I feel like, so I'm always ready to do something creative, something whether I'm a part of it but this is the first time I've had to kind of orchestrate it and bring it together myself. And it has been a process. But I've learned so much, and it gives me, I'm grateful for the experience.
I actually haven't. I haven't. And I think that was one that, like, when you presented it to me, like, I think one of the first things I said was, like, I've never done this before. So, like, I'm all on board. And I told the other lighting director that too, because we spoke about something and I was like, never tried it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all for creating. So when you presented it to me, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, why not? That seems like a really cool project to be a part of.
Well, my mother is a retired art teacher, and she was the head of the Black Culture Club at her school that she was teaching. And she asked my sisters and I to put together a program for Black History Month every year. So we would collect all these people to bring their talents together to do something for her every year. And then we would travel with that program. And when you asked me to do this, it just brought me back to that. And it touched my heart so much, and I was so excited about it. So I would say kind of, but bringing the actual art into it. Like, we would display her pieces at times, but no one was actually on stage creating pieces. So that excites me. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this.
I remember working with the voice professor at Thomas Nelson Community College in Hampton, Virginia. And she and I kept talking for a long time about having music and poetry thing. And we couldn't get together, but we finally did. And there was no visual art, unfortunately, but we had the voice professor and one of her voice students sing. And I read poetry, and one of my students, who is a spoken word artist, came, and it was wonderful. This is what this reminds me of. It was a lot of fun. It was nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun, and people enjoyed it.
Despite myself, I find myself repeatedly doing projects somewhat of this nature. I don't think of myself as a person that likes to be on the stage in this way, and yet I have repeatedly found myself playing parts in different, and often orchestrating and engineering them myself. So sometimes when you write a thing that needs to be read in front of an audience, then you have to be the one to do the reading in addition to the writing. And of course, in my family, visual arts run strong. So the art and the writing has always sat beside each other in my life.
I've been fortunate to have been a part of a few mixed media projects in my life, but none of them have lived up to the impact that this has the potential to have. Most of them that I was a part of was in undergrad, and I will say in none of them have I had to be the composer as well. As a classical pianist, I spend hours trying to learn the notes of Bach and Liszt and Chopin, and more recently, Florence Price and Coleridge Taylor Perkinston and Margaret Bonds. But to be able to do the writing myself and just allow everybody's artistic energy to kind of coalesce into something in my brain and then go out on paper. I'm just super excited for this opportunity in mixed media.
For me, this is definitely the first time I have done anything on this scale. I have done speeches at different events, but this right here, I have goosebumps, but I'm very, very excited. And my niece will tell you, I've just been worrying her to death. And I think, Rachel, when we were starting, I think I sent you an email like 2 or 3 times every day. And really second guessing myself. So the opportunity to be a part of this is really that voice that we all hear that kind of pushes you outside of your comfort zone. And when you know that it's time, you know, you need to follow that voice. And that's where I am. But I am so excited, just so super excited, because it's what is needed, it's what the people need to hear. And it's just going to be amazing. So thank you, Rachel.
Thank you guys. Thank all of you again for putting up with me and all my emails. I know I was sending them out. I would ask my mother, did you see my email? Did you look at my email today? So thank y'all. Okay, what was your inspiration behind producing this project, and what were the origins of it? So as I've been saying, this project is part of a larger project called the Enlight Collective, and it's a group of BIPOC lighting designers who are curating this mixed media art all over America, wherever they are, however they like. And the only real criteria is that, yeah, you're a lighting designer, you belong to the BIPOC community, and you want to showcase art. You want to create art with the people in your surroundings, in your neighborhood. So that's kind of a little bit about the origins of it. But my inspiration for Women and an Artist came from, again, Nina Simone. I've watched her documentary on Netflix a few times now. And I think she was like an incredible, complicated woman who made amazing, meaningful music. And I resonated with a lot of what she was doing, especially when her music started kind of not even drifting, jumping head first into the activism and social justice, kind of those kind of topics. And so I wanted to do something, again, that relates to our community that's still going on today, after years and years and years and years. So she created a song called For Women, and instead of using the 4 archetypes that she talks about in that song, I thought of it in a more literal sense. What if there were 4 women talking about these things? And then the artist component came in when I thought about, well, we need pictures, we need visual art, we need something supplemental to what these women are saying that's going to hit a whole different group of people. And then the musical component, I said, well, there needs to be underscoring, there needs to be wonderful music on the front end and on the back, like to tie everything together, to wrap it up in a bow, like in a beautiful package of music. Like that's the cherry on top for me. So what better way to do that than to add a classical musician, a pianist, to a project wrapped in all different kinds of art, all ran by a lighting designer. So that's kind of my inspiration for it. All right, and I think this is, okay, we've got a couple more, just a couple more. Were the rehearsals all virtual? We've answered that. Yes, they were. We're going to meet next week in the flesh, and we're going to have a tech and spacing rehearsal, and then we're going to do the show. But up until this point, yes, they have been virtual. But this is a two-parter. It says, if so, how did that impact the cohesiveness of the project? I think, like I said, this has been a pretty seamless process, sight unseen, so to say. So I don't think it impacted it negatively. I think, if anything, we were able to have fewer meetings and to really figure out what we needed to do all virtually. There were a lot of emails. There were a lot of emails on everybody, but I loved it. And so, to me, I don't think it impacted adversely at all. I think it was a very positive experience all the way around for me. We're not done yet, so. But what does everybody else think? Does anybody disagree with that? I mean,
seems like people are pretty flexible too, since everything is going on right now. Not too many schedules conflict with each other, and it seems like everybody is just like on the same page as far as just staying up to task and up to date with things. So no, it's been a pretty easygoing process overall, to be honest.
cool. All right, so our last question is, what's next for you guys? Anybody doing anything else? Are we continuing? I'm sure we're continuing to quarantine to the best of our livelihoods. But yeah, what are you guys doing next?
In the midst of all of this, I'm teaching 5 classes, 4 freshman comp courses and a literature course. And so I think what's next literally is me just diving back into that and reading a whole bunch of essays. As far as artistically, I am also, in addition to all of that, I am also in the college choir. And we are doing things virtually as well. So eventually we're going to have a collection of pieces, sacred and secular, and videos that we will post on Facebook for people to enjoy. You know, if I can ever get my part right, that'll be the next thing.
Well, for me, I will continue to work. I'm a first responder working with individuals, children, and also adults that have mental health issues. So that will be my first thing, because it's so needed, especially in our community. In regards to, I would say, the art itself, I'm going to continue to write, continue to be a part of another amazing group that I am also working with, where we are creating meditations, our own meditations to put out on social media, which is meditation and meditating and, you know, trying to get ourselves on a higher level, more positive level, considering everything that's going on. Also, another piece that's needed, continuing to work on my book and just coming outside of my comfort zone and doing things that I know that I was created to do.
Well, I am going to be grading papers like your mother. I teach African American studies, so I'll be doing that work. And I will be writing. I have one book manuscript complete. I'm shopping it right now. I co-authored it with my research partner, and I have another book I'm really, really trying to turn my attention back to. I started a couple years ago, and I am focused on trying to finish that.
What's next for me? I had my own business, but this COVID thing has messed that up. I had my own daycare business, but working towards working with older children. So starting an academy, Asheville Academy, just trying to uplift our youth and teach them in a different way than the public schools are. I support public school teachers, but sometimes folks have to go another way. And so that's what I'm looking towards doing. And musically, no, my band can't get out there and perform, and I really miss being on the stage. And I'm trying to get with a few of them to try to create something that we can put out online, because I just need to sing. So that's what's going on.
So since the beginning of this year, I've been really dissecting like the creative process since my last solo show at the end of 2019, and I've been doing that like personally. And before COVID hit, I was doing a lot of other commissions and like clothing commissions for people, but COVID slowed everything down, so I was able to really dive deep into reconstructing my own work. And I came to I'm basically gonna put together a show that's like highlighting the progression. It's gonna be called It Only Takes a Few Dances, where dances is a metaphor for like attempts or tries or just the process in general until you finally are able to land that dance, land that move. And it's just going to highlight the progression, and that's what I'm looking to put forth. I've designed some merch for it and everything, so I'm just kind of just waiting for the right time to do it. And I think after this show, it'll be the right time to put it together.
Okay, cool. And then Donald, I know your life is right now, but what's next for you, sir?
I have a few things on the docket, So as Rachel was alluding to, so I have some grading to do. I'm a professor of piano and music theory at Kentucky State University. I also have lots of studio class performances and a degree recital coming up because I'm also a full-time student at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. But a project that I am super, super, super excited about, I'm giving a virtual solo recital for the Salon 21 Petite Piano Concert Series in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that is a very special program. I'm going to be placing canonical works of, as we so lovingly say in the classical world, of dead white men. I'm going to be putting that in dialogue with the music of Black composers. So I'm going to be putting Liszt and Bach specifically in dialogue with Florence Price and Coleridge Taylor Perkinson and Chicago-based composer Regina Harris Baiocchi. All phenomenal Black composers, and I'm just excited to send a message that our music in the classical idiom is just as imaginative, colorful, impactful, and worthy as the great canonical works. So that's what I have going on.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. I know it's gonna be amazing. As for me, I will be working with the ACT Theater in Connecticut the last couple weeks of October, assisting a lighting designer on one of the first approved shows in the country now. We just found out in a production meeting yesterday. It's a two-person cast, a two-person musical Um, so we're in here. Theater is trying to make a comeback, and I'm here for it. Uh, so I'll be in Connecticut for a little bit, which I'm excited about. Um, and then after that, I've got some stuff up here, but I don't think I have anything travel oriented or anything pressing right now until things calm down a little more. But uh, artistically, I've got a lot more where this came from. So I'm excited to write some stuff down and get some stuff on paper. So that was all of our questions. I hope you guys got a little more insight into who our artists are today, like who we are, and to hear a little bit more about the project, past the flyer that you've been seeing, past everything I've been posting in the past few weeks. We are going to be releasing this next Saturday, and you can join the event on Facebook. And you can also, you will see the video on my Instagram, which is BNR Light. And it will also be available on my website, which is bnrlight.com. And you guys can find the video there. There is still time to donate a little bit to give to our artists for their time and their effort. We've come together to do some amazing work. They've come together to do some amazing work. And we need to take care of them. So I'll post the place you can donate. There's two different ways, both tax write-off. One is a 501c3, the other is our GoFundMe, and you can donate on either one. But thank you guys for sitting with us. We're excited about the project, and we hope you are too. This has been the Q&A session with 4 women and an artist, and my best friend, Donald.